All right, can you see it over there?
The vibe, yes.
Perfect. All right, y'all. Hey. Welcome back. Welcome back. I'm so excited to be back with you all. Hold on just a minute. Sorry, y'all. I'm trying to get myself together over here. I know you're like, what is she doing? Um, so glad to be back with you all. I am, like I said, the owner of the Eventful Life Enterprises. I'm a mompreneur, and I also am an event producer. But also, I have learned to call myself an instigator because I challenge you to think a little bit differently. And I think that, sometimes that is a good thing. A lot of times that's a good thing. So here we are. What I do is every week I bring you women in business and moms who are entrepreneurs, who are living their daily life, but they are also living authentically through the different challenges that they face, the triumphs that they actually overcome. And those are the things there. I call them unspoken truths because those are the things that a lot of times we as women don't talk about, for fear, for doubt, for shame, whatever that may be, but we don't talk about them. However, these women are living their life authentically, and so they are here to share in hopes that it'll meet you right where you are. So I'm excited to dive in today. I have another phenomenal woman with me. She is a mompreneur. She is also a speech therapist, or speech pathologist, excuse me,
Yeah.
wellness advocate. And I just adore her. I've come to follow her journey over the last year or so. And she just really has a passion for not just life in general, but also really as it relates to her kids. And, sometimes life will throw that monkey wrench at us, y'all, that maybe we didn't start out thinking that this, maybe it wasn't a part of our vision of what we had planned. But we soon find out that it is something within us that we obviously could, we're built for, really, that we just didn't know it at the time. And so that's why I wanted to invite Kacey here, with Kate, let me get it right, K Alex LLC.
Yes.
I wanted to invite her to be my guest today because she has an amazing story that we'll jump into in just a minute here. So, Kacey, hey girl.
Hey. Man, I am good. I am good. I'm honored to be here. Thank you for having me. I've tuned in for sure, to previous episodes and got all sorts of emotional because I'm like, wow, these women have testimonies, and I know that we all do.
Yeah.
But even hearing you say some of the things about me, I'm like, was that, really me?
Right.
Okay, I guess. So I mean, I'm honored that you think of me in that manner, and I'm happy to share.
Absolutely. Well, thank you. Thank you for saying yes, because you didn't
Yeah.
have to. But yeah, so let's dive in because, like I said, I think, one of the things we as moms, let's park it in the mom and the entrepreneur zone, because I think we're a special group of women for a lot of different reasons. We're passionate about our kids. We love our kids, just like all moms do. But we also have this other instinctive, you know, fire, if you will, inside of us that is just like, this is something that I'm feeling led to put out into the world,
Yeah, for
and
sure.
I almost feel like, because I've tried, and I don't know if you've had this experience, but I've tried to like be like, nah, like I don't need, I could just be over here and do my mom thing and be fine and not really and not really be putting all this stress on myself.
Yeah, if I wasn't doing this, I could be doing this. Or but
Right.
to be honest, like you said, I totally agree. I mean, I think our generation gets a lot of slack for a lot of things, but I think we're also it's almost this awakening of I'm not going to wait until my kids are 18 and gone out of the house. What if
Right.
they aren't?
Right. Whatever that is.
Okay, whatever that is, until I'm going to live my life, or
Yeah.
pursue my dreams.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I think again, God placed this vision on you.
Yeah.
And there is no, oh well, I'm just gonna hold on, God. Like I'm gonna, and it's
Right.
not your dreams. You
Right.
can't stop thinking about it. And then, hey, you may see somebody else with your baby, your dream.
Right.
Not the way that God gave it to you, of course, but it's like,
But
why?
it causes regrets because
It
you're
calls
like,
that.
dang, I should have
I
done
should,
that, or
yeah,
I should have followed, like,
yeah,
dang, God, okay.
yeah,
I
right. I'm
hear
gonna just go ahead
you.
and give it to somebody else because you playing around, and so I don't believe in that, and I don't want to
Yeah.
be. I can't live my life, in a manner in which I want to,
Yeah.
because I'm a mom. No,
Right.
or fulfill my dreams. But I totally feel you on that. The mom guilt does creep up sometimes.
Yeah, it does. And I
Yeah,
think it's, and maybe you can share a little bit on that too before we dive in fully into your story. But I think that mom guilt is real for moms across the board. But I also think that, we are starting to come into a place where we're learning not to allow society to dictate what we as moms look like, right? Or what we're supposed to be about.
yeah,
I used to say, like, gosh, it's like you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't, because on one side it's like, okay, make sure you're taking care of home, taking care of kids, taking care of this. But then on the other side, it's like, well, why aren't you working? What's wrong with you? Is something wrong with you?
right.
Are you not capable?
You didn't get back. You get back to it. Get to you. You're not, or you're such a hard worker. All the things, and it's like, well, no,
Right.
I'm crumbling. Or
Right.
that's not. I'm not happy, but my kids are happy. That's not. God don't want
That's
that for
not the
us. First of
same.
all, God doesn't even
Right.
want that for us.
Right.
I get sacrifice.
Yeah.
But mommy has to be happy. If mom, and we know this, if mommy's not okay, no one else will be okay.
Right.
And I think
Right.
there's some power too in your kids seeing you go for your dreams, right? Like
Absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
love that. I mean,
Yeah.
now hindsight for sure. And my mom, God rest her soul, she's passed
Yeah.
away 10 years ago. I think about her go, her hustle, and her. I mean, what if she
Yeah.
said, you know what? I'm gonna just go ahead and do this. And this is no downplay to 9 to 5s, but I'm gonna do this 9 to 5, and I'm
Yeah.
not gonna leave this, my 9 to 5. And she would go straight to her salon that she owned,
Yeah.
work there on weekends and maybe miss out on certain, activities or try
Right.
to
Right.
become a cheerleader, so competitions. Um,
Right.
it was okay. My mom was
Yeah.
there in the manner that I needed her to be there, and so
Yeah.
that
And just listening to you talk about her, that's how you know
yeah,
that what she was doing, like, yeah, no, she may not have done every little thing right,
every little thing,
but
right,
that's how you know she was doing the important things right.
right, for
Because
sure.
for you to be able to sit here and talk about her in that manner and have those memories that you hold near and dear, it's like, yeah, she was definitely doing the important things right.
Yeah, no regret, no, oh, I wish she, wouldn't have put her career before us, which I never felt like that. I know
Right.
that that could possibly be a thing as well. Um,
True.
I do have to remind myself to be present a little bit. My
Yeah.
son
True.
Xander, who does have autism, sometimes
Yeah.
he'll even knock my hands out, my phone out of my hand, and I'm like, oh, okay, it's enough for the day.
Hey,
I'm
like I said.
I get it. Thank you. I needed that. And that's okay. That's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
My girls, we talk about mommy's brand. They
Yeah.
know, what I do. They
Hmm.
participate in some of it. They help me. Um,
Which I love. I
yeah,
love. I love seeing how you, and I think that's
Mhm.
that's the answer. Even under the Eventful Life, we talk a lot about you can have it all. It just has to
Love
be,
it.
you have to be willing to have it on your terms and your
Love
time.
it.
And I think that's the key. Like, I
Yeah.
didn't used to get that. I used to be like feeling like I had to do everything the cookie cutter way. And
Yeah.
it wasn't until that light bulb went on that I was like, who says that? Like, why?
Right. Who came up with this rule?
That's exact. I'm like, who made the rules?
I really have, I have a lot of questions. Okay. I need to sit down with that person, whoever it was.
It's like that light bulb just went on, and I started questioning everything. Like, who made the rules? Why do I have to follow them? Who said I had to follow them? What happens if I don't follow them? Right?
Right. Okay. Like, are you gonna come take care of these kids? You gonna do this with the household? You gonna do it with my why? Yeah. And I love that about our generation. I think it's bold.
Yeah.
I think again, we're just like, we're gonna live life on our own terms. And
Yeah.
rightfully so. Rightfully
Yeah.
so. That's
Rightfully
what
so.
God wants for us. I
Exactly.
refuse to believe that, we have to live in struggle and we have
Right.
to, again, I get sacrifice. I get,
Yeah.
all the things.
Yeah. Because he
But
didn't say it was gonna be easy.
it's not gonna be easy. It's not gonna be easy. There we
It's
go.
not. He didn't
He
say it
didn't
was
say
gonna
it's
be
gonna be
easy. He
easy.
just said that it was gonna get done. That it was gonna happen.
Yes. There you go. That's it. Shut the book. Boom. That's it.
Right. So I love how you have infused, because what I see is you've infused your work, to make it fit around your family unit. So it's like you've immersed them together, and so it's not like this, okay, well, I got to come over here and do this, but then I got to go over there and do this. A lot of times when I see you with your kids, it's like I'm doing and being me, but my kids get to participate in that as well. And I think that's such a beautiful thing, especially given that you have Xander. And so I want to talk a little bit about, I want to kind of segue into that and talk a little bit about that. You mentioned earlier Xander has autism. And so let's talk about that journey a little bit. Like, how did you come to a place where you understood that he was going to need a little bit more, special TLC and special care from mommy?
Yeah. So again, I'm a speech language pathologist. I work
Mhm.
at early intervention, which is a setting of 0 to 3-year-olds population. And so I knew
Yeah.
immediately. I always say almost like the light bulb switch kind of went out. And so I remember pulling my husband into the room. I don't know why I did this, but it was just like, come here. Do you see this? Like, and so
Yeah. So this is like the first time that you were noticing, or really like it really went off that like, okay, something
oh,
is
something's wrong. Oh,
okay.
easy. And so, I do this all day, every day. Not to say that my full caseload are children on the spectrum, but I come in contact with a lot of kids on the
Sure,
spectrum,
sure, you're around it.
Yeah. So I was like, oh man, okay. And he said, no, you're tripping. I said, great. I'm tripping. I'll take it.
Right.
And so of course months go by and you start to notice, I mean, it's to where you can't ignore the milestones that are not being
Not
mastered.
being achieved. Yeah.
They're not mastered. And so of course my husband then were like, you know what, you're onto something. We're going to need to get him tested. And so got him the testing, and of course he got the diagnosis of autism. And
Yeah.
I already knew. I had my grieving, if you will, because again, like you said, you don't expect this to be, your life's work almost. I mean, this is
Yeah.
I
I'm
always
like
say,
this, I'm sure that flipped the script in a lot of different ways in
yeah,
terms of what you thought you had planned,
yeah,
maybe what path you thought you were headed down, or
right.
whatever the case may be, right?
Right. And so you think you know motherhood almost, I mean, each
Right.
child's different, all the things, but for a neurotypical child, okay, I got it. Boom, boom, boom. I know what to expect. But being the parent, I mean, being a
Yeah.
professional on one side with a child, helping children on
Yeah.
the spectrum, but then being a parent
Yeah.
of a child on the spectrum, that
Much
sort of
different. Much
just
different.
much different. I mean, it's just like, it just takes things up a notch for you. And so I'm still learning him. He's
Mm-hmm.
3 and some change, 3.5. And so I'm still learning him. I'm still learning a lot about autism.
Yeah.
I'm giving myself grace,
Yeah.
when I get a little frustrated.
Yeah.
But I thank God that I do have the background and was able to, again, pick up on the signs,
Right.
get him the
And
early
that
diagnosis.
and that's not a coincidence, right? Like
Yeah, right. I mean, right.
that's not a coincidence
Right.
that you just happen to be a
Yeah.
speech pathologist. Like that is your
Right.
career, your expertise. And then you have a son that's on the spectrum, and for you to notice those
Yeah.
things, right? Because that could not have been the case.
Right. And that's what my husband said. He said, "Oh my gosh, I would have never known." Again,
Right.
it's like, and then just even resource wise, like knowing
Yeah.
exactly what he needed.
Okay. Yeah, how was
Kind of
that?
curious.
So
Yeah.
I know you said you're still learning, but how has it been kind of on the journey of figuring out what he does need?
Yeah.
How you guys kind of manage that as a family, and what, and just making sure that you, I guess, don't get overwhelmed by it all,
For sure. And
Yeah.
so, okay, and so I had to fire 2 pediatricians. And even saying that I had
Mm,
to fire a pediatrician, I think a lot of times we forget that they work for us.
right.
And I had to come to that realization. I loved our first pediatrician, Black woman, all the things.
Yeah.
Great for our neurotypical daughters. I do have 2 daughters, 10 and 5.
Yeah.
But when it came around to Xander, I was like,
Yeah.
you're not on point with this. I done filled
Yeah.
out the checklist for 30 minutes in the waiting room. You read over it and you're seeing that he's not hitting his milestones. That's number
Mm,
one. And I'm telling you, all the signs and symptoms of that are characteristics of a child on the spectrum. I need
yeah.
to get him tested. And it was all this whole, well, give him time. He's a boy.
Mm,
And this is my first boy. So I almost, again, I don't necessarily want to, I didn't want my child to have a diagnosis, of course. So I
yeah.
felt almost like, okay, let's just go with it. But then I was like, no, if he's not autistic, then he will
Yeah.
not get the diagnosis. Let's get him the
Exactly.
testing. So
Right.
anywho, that was the whole thing.
But I think I want to stop you there for just a minute,
Uh-huh.
because I think it's important to point out that, even for you, you were like, okay, I know something's up, but
Sure.
there was still this push and pull of like, well, but I don't want
Yeah,
anything
right.
to be
Yeah,
wrong, And so I want to point that out, because I'm sure there are moms out there who, sometimes we notice things, but then we're like, okay, it's not that big a deal, or we want to gloss over it because we just, I don't know. I think still, even within the African American community, there's still a stigma attached
for
to,
sure.
I don't want my child to be quote unquote
For
different,
sure.
or
I mean,
labeled.
it's straight up denial. It's straight up
Yeah,
denial. I'm of the Christian faith, and I would hear stuff like, well, we ain't believing in that.
yeah,
Listen, that's not what we're going to do here, because again,
yeah,
we're going to get him all the supports he needs. Do I want,
yeah,
again, I mean, and I would hate to compare, but even like when my mom had cancer as well, I mean, it
yeah.
was like, oh, we not believing in God for that. And it's like, we get that, but we're also going to go ahead and get the medication necessary.
Right. Like we gotta have
Put a bread,
discernment.
let's stop it, everybody. Let's just, so but I did have to
Yeah,
allow my husband again to come to terms, if you will, with
yeah,
things. And like I said, I see it with parents every day. I can't diagnose autism as a speech pathologist, but I can definitely share that, there's further testing that I like to suggest, things of that nature when I do see that in other children that I work
yeah,
with. But we have to pull away from that. We can't,
yeah.
we not gonna get your child. I want my child to have all the services.
That's what I'm gonna say. You want them to
Why
get
would you deny
the
that?
resources that they
Get a
need.
label, and unfortunately, not unfortunately, but it will take a label to get
Hmm.
all the resources, or the
Right,
diagnosis to get the
right.
resources. And so I think that's where we get a little things confused a bit,
Yeah,
but I don't think that is necessarily a bad thing. Like, we want that for our
yeah. You want them to have the very
want
best.
to have everything. So
Right.
I
It's
don't
like
think,
going to the doctor for an annual checkup. Like you don't want a
listen.
doctor who's like crappy. You want a doctor who's
And I'm
a
going to be
good.
honest with you. When I go to the doctors, I'm totally honest with my doctor,
Yeah,
because I need you to know everything that I'm doing so that we can get the correct diagnosis. So putting off things is not going to make the autism diagnosis going to go away. It's not going away. You're just going to find out once he goes to school that now we're going to have to diagnose him at 5, and all the supports that you could have got when he was younger and a toddler, you can't get anymore. Now he'll just get the support level in the schools and maybe private practice. And so I just knew, and to be honest, there's a wait list, especially in like highly populated areas, like a metropolitan area, DMV area. There are wait lists of up to 6 months. And I was like, really? 6 months to wait. Let me get my child on this. Please give me the referral. And so I knew that I had to step into the advocate role, you know, the pediatrician. And again, you know, I was uncomfortable about, I felt bad. No, you can ask your sister, okay? I'm busy right now.
I love it.
Okay, Daddy.
Real life. This is real life.
Okay, go ahead. I'll be back. That's the boss baby right there. Okay.
Is that the 5-year-old?
Yes. Do you see this, girl? So, I knew that I have to step into that role, and so again fired her, and then went with another position, and did not care for the care as well there, and so you know, all the things, but we also looked into, and again, everything happens for a reason. So last summer I started hearing about biomedical treatment and functional medicine treatment, if you will. They're used interchangeably, and you can say holistic, if you will, too. They're all interchangeable, but approach to autism. And so I was like, what's that? You know, and when we think of the spectrum, you think, of course, again, you think high functioning, you think low functioning, and that is, I know the autism community is not like that. And there's other ways to definitely describe it. But when we just visualize it, yes, there's kids who are just quirky. You know, they're savant, they're super, super smart. You know, they know things that the average person wouldn't even know, you know. They can go on and have kids and, you know, have families and go to college and all the things about your house. Then the kids that may be dependent on their parents for the rest of their life and may not come out of their diapers. And
that's lower on the spectrum.
You know, they may have their own, and that's not to take away from their gifts and all the things, but that's where Xander was. And that sucked as well. Cause I was like, okay, all right. He gonna be all right.
Right. So not only were you having to sort through the fact that, okay, he is on the spectrum, but now you're trying to also absorb the fact that he may be on the lower end of the spectrum, which means that you might be providing this type of care for who knows, forever.
Sure, who knows, you know?
Right.
I was like, wow. No.
What were you thinking at that point? So how old was he at this particular point?
So he had just gotten a diagnosis officially last summer. But again, I saw we were going to all the therapies and all the things. I was doing everything I knew how.
Right.
How still wasn't verbal. And I was like, sometimes he would pick up skills and then regress immediately. I said, he can't even retain information. So it had me to dig back in. I had an amazing, amazing professor, undergrad. She is still like a mentor. I love her to death. Not sure if she's watching, but Dr. Clark, and she was my neuro teacher undergrad, and I had to dig back into those books. I still have those textbooks, and I said, something in the brain. This is deeper than, oh, he's just autistic. I was tired of hearing it's autism as a blanket statement for behaviors, for this, for that. And I said, it's deeper than that. Like, I need to look at root causes. So,
and at this time, he's 2.
He's 2. He is 2.
Okay.
Yes, he's 2. He was 2.
Okay.
Yep, because then that's when we started our medical journey.
Right. So then walk us through, because I know one of the things that I loved when I was following your journey is, you know, that you were like this stepping stone of him saying words was like a big deal. And yes, and I mean, I was like, I can remember just like when you kind of, shared that, okay, we're trying to get him into his words, like to
Yeah.
use his words. And then the day I think you posted a video where he like actually spouted off like,
Yeah.
several words. And you would have thought I was right there in your living room with you. I was hollering and jumping up and down and running around the room. But it was so amazing and so awesome. And I could feel the energy of this was a
Oh my
huge
God.
accomplishment for the family, for you guys.
Huge. Imitation
Yeah.
is the initial step. And this was a kid who, the initial step in hierarchy to functional communication. I know
Okay.
this, right? And so, I mean, just even establishing attention with him. I mean, he would be in his own world. He'd be spinning off in the corner. He's cracking up inappropriately. I used to think it was cute. Oh, he's playing with the angels. Yeah, babies do that when this is not. Let's come on. And so, and it really hurt me as well. I'm a speech pathologist, and I can't get my child to the verbal level. So of course there's other forms of communication. Oh, he took I usually have it up here. There's a PEX chart, just like picture communication, that we used to use a sheet of paper, and he would use that to communicate, and it worked. But I said, that's not good enough for me.
Right.
And I would always have parents that tell me that, again, being on the other end of things, but now I see myself as a therapist back then saying, well, your child just may not be, and trying to comfort parents.
But you're like, I'm not having it.
And now I'm like, I ain't having it. That's not. And so
I love it. That's a mama for you.
We are going to, and so it's a whole science, but what I will say is diet is important. And I remember, again, working with some parents who definitely were maybe on the affluent level. You can get a step. No, get your step and go ahead and bring it in here. Don't come back in, okay? Thank you. That's when it's about to go down, okay? That's when it's about to go down. Give her jacket, please, Zoe. Thank you.
I love it, girl. They listen. I'm surprised mine haven't busted in the door because they don't care.
And get back to school. Let's do something about that. Okay, let's get them out of here. So they're going outside for recess.
Okay.
I get them out. I'll be like, I don't care what you do, but you gotta go outside. Get outside. So I remember those families really enforcing children on the spectrum, mainly. Their parents will always say, like, oh, my child's on a gluten-free, dairy-free diet. And I'm like, yeah, girl, whatever. But I couldn't deny some of the progress or again, the retention of information or skills with those child versus other children who may not have been on those diet restrictions. And so I was like, let me look a bit deeper into that. And it was just a perfect storm of things. So like I said, last summer, I also heard that Tony Braxton's son had lost his diagnosis. I had also heard about Jenny McCarthy's son and all the things. And I was like, these are people who have resources and have the money, right?
Right.
What did they do? So of course they did some biomedical treatment and or approach. And so again, I said
you started kind of following that path.
Yeah, let's go. Let's dive in. So definitely immediately changed his diet, which was ideal, especially at a younger age. Cleaned out everything, so now he's on a very restrictive diet. And when we see that his sisters, we have not put his sisters on the diet. And when we see that he may get into their snacks, he's a completely different child. I mean, listen, he was hopping like a frog one time. I was
wow.
Seen you do this. I'm actually impressed, just motor skills wise, because you're
right.
But what do you do? Like, I mean, verbally.
So you could see the change, the difference between when
15 minutes after digesting, and his sister had came in the room and said, you know what, Mom, I left out some Pringles. But it's Pringle brain right here. Look at your little brother. I need you to know. And so now they know the extent. People, even my husband and the kids, they were just like, but now everyone's
so
like,
the whole family had to really kind of get on board. Like we gotta make this change together.
Everybody,
so that we can,
So the girls don't really bring, if they do again, like have Chick-fil-A or something, they have to go straight up to the room and eat it. That's
you
can't see it. We're not.
That's not temptation for him.
Yeah.
That's
so that was that was something that's definitely huge on our journey. And like you said, with the burnout,
Yeah.
it's a lot. This is,
Yeah.
I would love to just pull up to a fast food restaurant and get my whole family their dinner. But
Right. I know, right? Because Lord knows in this pandemic, we tired of cooking, honey.
I'm tired of cooking and cleaning dishes. Okay, I'm tired of it. Yeah, I can't.
Okay.
I'm grateful that I have a home and food and all the things. I hate that we
Yeah.
have to do
But
caveats
that
like
doesn't
that.
make it any less pleasant.
I do not want to cook every day. I never did. So I have to prep. I have to prep his
Yeah.
supplements. He has supplements that he takes daily, 3 times a day at
Wow.
certain ones. We do some detoxing and things like that. And so
Yeah.
sometimes when I'm like, I don't feel like it, I ain't got it today. I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah.
remember all the progress. Remember, and look at your child. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
again, I mean, now he's considered verbal. I mean, he's
Yeah, which is
labeling things, he's requesting
awesome.
things.
Yes.
I'm so
Yes.
excited,
Yes, you have to be, I
um,
know it's probably hard because you're so close to it every single day, but I hope that you do take moments where you step back and be proud of,
yeah,
the progress that he has made and that you have been a big instrumental part of that progress because, that's not to be taken lightly.
yeah. And I say that I have to take off my speech therapist hat, be
Yeah,
mom
and just be
for him.
mommy.
I have to be mommy. Okay, if he's doing something, let him do it. Just let him,
Yes,
or acknowledge, like you said, acknowledge it instead of thinking about what's next. Let's get him to the next step.
right.
I do, and I'm guilty of
Right.
that. Um,
Yeah.
but when
Now,
I do
how has
that,
this, because you said it just a minute ago, and I was about to ask you, I was about to transition into that next anyway, but you sound like from everything you've shared, you have to be very hands-on, with Xander throughout this entire process. So that naturally, I'm sure, can lead to moments of burnout where you're just like you said, I ain't got it today. How are you managing that? Because again, as mompreneurs, period, we be in the burnout zone. We I would say we live in the burnout zone a lot. We shouldn't,
I
but
know.
we do. And that can be very hard because that coupled with mom guilt, because then when you do want to take a break, you're like, yeah, but I can't, or that's not responsible of me, or I need to do X, Y, Z, when in actuality, it's probably what we do need to do in order to do
Yeah.
X, Y, Z. But how are you managing that for yourself?
Yeah. So when I do get anxious,
Yeah.
or I do feel like this is just a lot, like I can't manage it all right now.
Yeah.
For sure, I take a step back.
Yeah.
And sometimes I have in the past, I know that sometimes this may impact my brand.
Yeah.
I'm a social media influencer, a content creator. And if you
Yeah.
take a month off of social media, it's not a good thing,
Yeah.
for campaigns, paid brand ads,
Yeah.
your following, your community,
Yeah.
things of that nature. Um, but every time, and I've done that in the past where we're starting like a new detox or things of
Hmm.
that nature, I'll take a step back just to like prepare, put
Yeah.
all the things into that.
Yeah.
But I do as well, just like self-care. I
Hmm.
do for sure. I like you said, I'm not gonna go without, just because, oh, that mom's, you shouldn't be, oh, how do you have time to do it? And I've heard stuff like that. Oh, well, how do you have
Mm.
time to? Because I make time.
What?
Yeah, how do you have time to get facials? Because I get monthly facials. I have
Yes, as you
my
should.
appointment tomorrow. Look, I have my appointment at 1 o'clock tomorrow.
Right.
I get monthly facials. I have girls' night tonight. I'll be going out with my girls at
That's
once a month.
good.
Once a month.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
important to me. That may not be important to
Yeah.
the next woman.
Yeah.
That's what self-care is. Some people
Right.
don't know that.
Well, because self-care looks different
It
for
looks different
every
for everyone.
individual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
going I'm going out to dinner with my girls tonight. I'm going to get
Absolutely.
my facials
Absolutely.
once a month. This is what
Yeah.
I'm doing to fill my cup.
Yep.
And that's how that's how I fill my cup on the self care aspect of things. But then, like you said, with burnout, I will share that I feel like, of course, my husband's, he's a lot of help,
Yeah.
if I do share with him, okay, hey, I have a podcast to record tonight. Can you keep the kids quiet? Like this probably
Yeah.
wouldn't have happened if Well, number one, it's daytime.
That's okay. It's daytime. Listen, we doing all the things in the same place. And one thing you do not have to apologize about on this show is for who you are, because this is what it's all about.
I appreciate that, but it's like, and I don't think I even told him about this. So I was just like, oh God, but I hear him out there now with him. So, it's definitely, asking for help. Asking for help.
Yes, yes.
I don't think a lot of us find easy, even when our family members and friends are like, girl,
what do you need?
What do you need?
You're like, I got it.
I got it. Let me know when you, and I'm like, and so I've actually started to tell people, when they say that, I'm like, well, the proper way would be, or let's rephrase that. What do I need? Or are you saying, what do I need?
Right.
Because when you leave it into a lot of, especially for me, someone who does not maybe take help as easily as I should.
Yeah.
When you leave it in my hands, I'm not gonna
use it.
Say, hey girl, I'm taking you up on that question you asked me 3 months back, and whatever. So
that's a great point though, of rephrasing it. So that it makes it easier for the person to say, okay, like that's a great idea.
But you just, and that's what, again, my mom's passing, and again, Xander and all the things, and people will say, well, I'm here for you. Let me know when you need something. And it's like, I've never, ever called any of those people, and so when I needed them, I probably did need them. I could have benefited from their help or their assistance in some manner, even if it's prayer. And so for someone to say, girl, what you need? What you need? That doesn't leave. Well, let me know if you need something. It's like, what do you need right now? What do you need? Girl, I'm right here. And I have good girlfriends where they're just like, girl, I'm down the street. Like, what you need? Can you pick up whatever? Or do you think you'll be? And even I'll still, of course, because I just
we still are a little meek about it, because we just don't want to be. It's something in our DNA about, not wanting to feel like we're a burden. And I think that, it's that old school mentality of, girl, don't you be no burden to nobody. And we just
your mom like, no, that's no. I'm like, hey, I need help though.
It's like, no, that is what the true people in your life, in your circle, like, they know that comes with the relationship, that is a part of the relationship. It should be.
It should be. And I mean, listen, that's a whole nother
topic.
Okay, because I've had to reframe my friendships, okay, and even family, members. I mean, the relationships that I really want to be intentional about. Like, I need you to be just as into this relationship as I am, and so that's a whole thing. But
we'll have to come back for a part 2 on that.
We'll have to do a part 2 on that one. Okay, we can do that. Okay, we can do a whole hour on that easy. Fortunately and unfortunately,
right.
Exactly. And I am happy with my community. I am so grateful for the girls that I don't want to get emotional. I'm just grateful. I'm grateful. I said, and I told my aunt this the other day, I was like, I can't lose with women like you in my life. Oh, Jesus.
That's so good. That's so good. Well, those are the type of relationships you need, that you're like, you add so much value to my life that, I don't know where I'd be without you, and that's truly a beautiful thing. I value, very similar to you, I value those relationships that I have in my life, So tell me, with your brand and everything, how do you, and this is a word for some of our mompreneurs out here, how do you continue to, make sure you're winning in mommyhood with Xander, like you're still making sure, because I'm sure you probably have, next level goals that you want to see him get to, but also still making space for you and your career aspirations, as an entrepreneur, how are you, what's kind of your vision for that as you continue to move forward? Because you're doing a beautiful job, and I
Thank
hope that
you.
you really are. And that's
Thank you.
something we need to tell each other a lot more often,
Yeah, yeah.
is when we see another one. Because I promise you, on her best day, she still got this little thing right here on her shoulder, like, girl, you sure? You know.
Yeah, those affirmations mean the world, you
Yeah,
know?
they
We
do.
need that.
They do.
And so, I mean, just like you as well,
Mhm.
I think that, listen, you're gonna pivot. You're gonna
Yeah.
pivot. Your brand, you may hop into another realm of things.
Yeah.
Um, good things may have to come to an end where you feel like, oh,
Yeah.
hey, this
This
is going great.
season.
This is the
Yeah.
thing. This was a seasonal thing, and God's
Yeah.
pulling you over here.
Right.
And so that is where I feel like I am.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, okay, God, I see what you're doing, and
Yeah.
so I know I had shared with you that I will be coming out with some ebooks and things
Oh,
like that. I'm looking into, yeah,
love.
so excited because I felt like again, it was like, okay, we have Xander's diagnosis. I'm
Yeah.
seeing some loopholes where, again, some knowledge that I have that I feel like needs to be known and put out there.
Yeah.
Dealing with,
Yeah.
of course, or your child on the spectrum, or even professionals. Um,
Yeah.
so I know that that was something that God was like, well, listen, this, and this is what you experienced, and this is
Yeah.
what you this is the approach that you take with your son, and all the things you need
Yeah.
that,
So in those ebooks, are you going to be sharing, different tips and things that moms can do as it relates, like if they do have a child that has special needs or is on the spectrum? Is that what the ebooks are going to be focused
Well,
around?
so yes, well, there'll be different ones, but there's definitely
Okay.
gonna be one for just childhood development in general.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so just the topic of childhood development,
That's awesome.
um, what to look for, when
Yeah.
to call, or get
Yeah.
testing and professional help, um,
Okay.
and what those services look like.
That's
Then I
awesome.
may do like parental groups and cohorts and things like that to,
Okay.
yes,
That's
establish
wonderful.
the
Oh,
progress. So I'm just like, you know
resources.
what?
Yeah.
Right, be a resource,
Yeah.
So I know that it's like, okay, guys, like you need to also, dig into that realm a bit, because that's something that I
Mm-hmm.
almost suppressed. It was like people didn't even know that I was a speech pathologist, and I was like, listen, I work a full-time job. I do more than full-time. Listen, okay, I work full-time,
Right.
and then
Yes,
I also
indeed.
have some contracts and private
Yeah.
paid clients and
Well,
all
I
the
think
things.
we wear so many different hats that
Yeah.
we assume that, I mean, we know what we do, but we assume that everybody else knows what we do as well until, like you said, until you share it one day and somebody's like, I didn't know you did that.
Yeah, yes, yes. So, and my DMs are always flooded
Yeah.
with parents asking all the questions and, being concerned or not even,
Yeah. Yeah.
and looking for the resources that may not be an easy Google search. You would think that,
Right.
but again, like
Right.
I said, with my Xander's pediatrician, it was a sheet of paper. It wasn't even a pamphlet. I mean, it was a sheet of paper
Wow.
of here, autism and good luck. I swear, I promise you, I was so upset. I said, so you don't know about this? I told her about certain programs.
Oh,
I said, this is
wow.
absolutely, I'm appalled. So I reported her.
Yeah, because it's like you're supposed to be educating me on
You.
what to do.
So how
You're
many
the
poor
professional.
families have you just given a sheet of paper and
Mm,
oh, good luck, autism?
right, have
What?
fun.
Are you kidding me?
Wow.
So I said, there's a need. There's a need.
Yeah,
And even, the other
absolutely.
as well. So, and I mean, I've heard this over and over. It's like, oh, autism, good luck.
Yeah,
And so I said there's a need, and whatever comes out of it, I'm not looking to make $1 million off of this,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I know that this is something
Something
that
that's gonna help other people. It's truly gonna impact them. Yeah,
right.
and
So
hopefully,
and then even the parents that I come in contact with my, full time, I'm like, listen,
right,
whatever I know, So now
right,
I know better, or I know, that you may need to look into this or that.
right.
And so I share that with them. So
That's so good, Kacey.
um,
That's
I
so
thank,
good.
thank you. And I just think,
Yeah,
again, you may be pulled a different way,
Yeah.
especially if you keep getting that. God's like, listen, all right, that's not
Yeah.
comfortable. You're comfortable right now, but listen, I need you over here. I
Exactly.
need
And
you
we
over
know that he is the master of that. Like as soon as he sees you getting
here.
comfortable, he's like, oh no, 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 no.
No,
You're not done yet.
that was
No,
nice,
I have
right?
more. I have more. Just go, over here, over here.
I'm doing great. I'm excelling. I'm all the things. Are
Yes,
you kidding?
yes. He's like, great, that's great. But over here.
I need you over here. I need you over here.
Right,
I was
right.
like,
I
oh,
love that though. I love that though, because it's like, your calling never ends. And I
right.
think that's the thing. It's like you can have a calling, but that doesn't mean that's going to be the only calling that you ever have throughout the duration of your life. You might
Right.
have different callings due to different seasons of your life.
Right.
And that's exactly what it sounds like you are, you're experiencing. Like you are shifting into another season that has a different calling on your life.
Sure.
And I think it's a beautiful thing when we finally stop fighting it and
Yeah.
just go with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess hindsight a bit, like you said, I'm still there. I can't deny that I still don't, cry or get
Sure.
upset.
Sure. And that's
With
normal.
this diagnosis and all the
Yeah.
things. And but then like you said, it's like, okay, well, what's the bigger picture behind it all? So
Right.
that's
Right.
sort of the space I've been in. And so, if an idea, comes on your heart, and it's crazy because I am a creative. I have so many ideas come to mind.
Yeah.
I mean, I've bought so many domains just sitting. I got all these ideas in my phone, just listed out. Boo, boo, boo,
And that has to be a habit of creatives because
and none of them is, I'm like, I'm about to sell it all. I'm just gonna start selling stuff. And when I see people's brands, I just do like these little like brand identity type of, I'm like, you could tweak this, or girl, I got an idea for you. Have you ever thought of? I said, oh my gosh, I just had these. But I was like, hey, see, that's not what God wants you to do.
Yeah.
Stop. I have to literally pull myself back, and it's like,
right.
Girl, that'll make you a buck.
That's your idea, not his idea.
That's my idea. That is my idea. I'm like, I can make some coins off of this. But that is not what God wants you to do.
Right.
Sometimes I do hate the way I think. I'm just like, girl. Everybody else is
obviously, I think that's what makes us creatives. You know what I mean? It's like it's the fact that we can see ideas, like our imagination, just like kids, our imagination is so big and so wide that we like can see amazing things in every little thing that we do.
Yeah.
And while sometimes it can be a burden because we like, I wish I would stop thinking about it.
Oh my God.
It's actually I believe, one of our greatest attributes. And so, girl, just listen, just go with it. As long as you know how to control it, go with it.
Yeah, I'm going with it. I'm going with what God wants from me.
Exactly.
We tried our way, and a lot of times it just doesn't.
Yes. Well, this was so good, Kacey. Thank you. Listen, I have enjoyed. I'm looking at the time because I'm like, is it really time for
I know. This was
it goes by so fast, but this was amazing. I'm gonna just peek down here so that I can see some of the comments. Hi, Jamaica said hi. Denise said yes on. Moskin said great event. Hey, Kacey. Nikki Williams said hey, Kacey. So definitely we got folks out there listening and taking in, absorbing everything that you shared. And you just shared so many wonderful things, especially for moms as a whole and moms who are entrepreneurs. I mean, like I said, there's so many nuggets that you shared that applies to us overall that we can really take away from this conversation. And so I encourage everybody to go back, listen to this again. If you are, a mom that, that does have a child with special needs, reach out to Kacey as a resource. And, she's a wealth of knowledge. I'm sure she'd be happy to share with you. And Kacey, why don't you share with them where they can find you, how they can stay connected with you, so that they can reach out.
Yeah, so I love Facebook, but I oftentimes share that this is for people I actually know. So, you know, they may not be friends, but people I know and family
Love that you
members,
said that. You
you
said people I
know.
actually know.
I mean, cause you know, I mean, now my other platform, that's where I'm a little more active. I
Right.
do post daily all the things over on Instagram. Um, yeah, because I've had a lot of people to request me, and I'm like, girl, I hate to do this, but I'm gonna have to click deny. You know, this is more for family, aunties, all the things. Keep in touch. I'll keep
You keep
mentioning
it
like
right.
kids and
You keep the
adults.
circle small on
I'm
Facebook.
trying, right? So yeah, Instagram would be my most active digital space platform, where I do produce a lot more content. Definitely
Yeah.
slide in my DMs over there. At underscore K Alex, KAYALEX _ um so definitely follow along over there. I do share again Xander's journey a little bit more, even our
Yeah.
journey. You know, there's an aspect where, you know, I do share my journey as well,
Yeah.
as a mom and parent of a child on the spectrum,
Yeah.
um, as well as my entrepreneurial
Mhm.
ventures. So
Yes, her
definitely
creative abilities.
my
Yeah.
creative abilities. Oh, that's an outlet as well. Yeah. So
Yes, because
yeah.
I loved Casey's things,
Oh,
the
the favorite
holiday.
thing. Oh,
Yes, that was
so much fun.
so creative and
Thank you.
so wonderful.
Thank
So,
you.
that's what I said, girl. It's a gift. It's, never ever think it's a curse because it's definitely a gift for sure. And not everybody hones that gift and that ability. So
I appreciate that.
yes, yes. Well, thank you so much. Listen, guys, thank you so much for joining us this week. Thank you guys for tuning in. Before you go, me and Kacey, we're gonna jump over to IG Live where we're gonna do our eLife TV Unplugged. So, like y'all know, the last couple of weeks, there's something new we've been doing. We're gonna jump over there and have us a good old time. We're gonna kiki a little bit and have a little bit of real talk, girl talk. So if you want to join us, jump over there, follow us over there. But for those of you who joined us this week, thank you again. I appreciate that you choose to share your time and your space with us here every week as I bring you another woman in business or another mompreneur. And remember, you can have it all. It's always about your time and your terms. So
Yeah.
see you again, friends, next week. And y'all have a great rest of your week. Thank you. Hold on, let me just.